Hey folks, this is IO-Ether and we're back playing some more World of Tanks. So as you can tell, this is EpicNewb in his T150, and this Fjords, it's a tier 6 battle, so we're top tier. Good! That'll definitely make things easier. Now for some reason, Epic is pointing up at the sky while he's driving forward. Oh, there he is. Okay. And somebody just fired off a cannon beside us. Okay. Those pesky cannons, you want to make sure that they've been fired at least once before you go into battle, right? You know, you got to clear the dust out of them. That's how that works, right? No? Okay, well, whatever. So it looks like Epic is going to go down the southern tip of the map. He's going to push with, looks like we got a Churchill 1 and a VK 3601H. There we go, that's the one. Which used to be a tank I adored until they turned it into a heavy and made it suck, and now I sold it. I have a goodbye to the VK 3601H if anyone wants to actually go watch that. Really great clip from before they screwed it up. Oh well. Now it looks like the VK is actually going to go down the F line, and there's a Churchill 7 that may be backing him up. Now we got a Panzer III-4 over here. That's the only thing holding this corner. So Epic really does need to haul to get up here. Ooh, look, fresh meat. I don't know what that M5A1 was doing, but it got him killed. And that's unfortunate. That Panzer III-4 did something silly. Nice job with the side scraping. But anyways, that Panzer III-4 pulled up in front of a KV-1S, and then, well, I guess he didn't expect to die. I don't quite understand how he didn't expect to die. But you can see that, ow. That Jiha, what was he doing? Anyways, Epic is currently trying to side scrape as best he can in a T150. This is actually quite hard to do, considering he only has a tiny little rock in front of him for his full cover. Normally you do this with like a building in front of you or something else. Nice shot taking out the KV-1S. Now the only thing left is a Churchill 3, and the Churchill 3 is going to have some serious trouble taking him out. Though if he lets the Stug do all the shooting, it's not going to be so much trouble. So, that felt like that Stug was shooting HE. Oh, barely a miss on the Churchill 3. And he's going to push up a little bit to let the Churchill 7 behind him take some shots, but also so he can get more accurate fire into this Churchill 3. Now he's trying to bait the enemy T150 into firing into his tracks, which is exactly what happened. And because the enemy T150 has a dirt cannon on, he ate 50 points of damage into his tracks instead of about 300 points of damage, which definitely would have killed him. Now he was playing his tank really smart right now, and he is letting the other guys make the first move and make the first mistake. And he's doing some excellent side scraping. There we go. Enemy T150 is fired and hit probably the Churchill 7 behind us, or missed completely. Either way, it doesn't matter. He's dead. We can move on. Now the rest of our team has pushed through on the other flanks. So, yeah, this game is in the bag pretty much at this point in time, unless something screws up majorly. Though that is a KV-2 over there. It can definitely murk anyone it particularly wants to. So Epic is going to have to be careful, because one shot from a KV-2 can still kill him. That was a nice shot. Now you notice he stopped just a few seconds before his gun reloaded so that he could aim in while still reloading. Really smart move to make, and that was a really epic shot to grab the kill on that. Now, I'm guessing he did that partly because he wants the Top Gun, but partially also because he wanted to get more damage in. But that was a really lucky shot as much as it was a good shot. It's always worth taking a shot like that, but the likelihood of it hitting, not very high. And that is the end of the game. Great game by Epic. Over 2,800 experience for that battle. That was really great. Steel Wall, which he rightly deserves, and Sniper. The T-150 is one of my favorite Tier 6 tanks to drive. That in the ARL 44. All this damage he caused and all this destruction, 9% of it was caused because of the fact that he was side-scraping. If he hadn't been side-scraping, the KV-1S and the enemy T-150, along with the enemy Stug, would have finished him off in record time. The PZ-34 in front of us charged around that corner and got murdered. Epic chose a really great thing, and he stood back and used a rock, which nobody even thinks about, so he could cover his lower plate and just poked out long enough to take a shot and then pull back into cover. 9% of the shots that did damage to him were HE shells that were eaten by his tracks, and then the splash damage did damage to his tank. That was really great, Epic. Thank you so much for showing us how to do side scraping properly. He was top experienced on his team, but we're not really surprised about that, seeing as he faced off with something like 7 tanks, or about half the enemy team, and he held them off pretty much solo with the help of a Churchill 7 behind him that did a little bit of damage, but mostly it just absorbed shots for Epic when Epic couldn't tank them himself. Epic did 3,050 damage in that battle, securing 5 different kills. Most of the shots he fired connected, and a lot of them penetrated. That's how he got his 3,000 damage done, but you also notice he took about 3 grand in damage. This was not a tank that he sat at the back lines and sniped with. He was right there at the front, and he absorbed as much damage as he actually physically could while dealing out as much as he possibly could. Because of that, he held the corner, and because he held that corner against 7-2 odds, 7-1 odds even, really, considering he was at the front of that, and that Churchill 7 to the back didn't do a whole lot, we can pretty much consider it 7-1 odds. He got out of that situation, and he did it really well, and he did it with style. That was great to watch. Thank you so much, Epic. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hit that like or subscribe button. I'll see you guys next time. This is IOE throughout.